Conversation with God, He told me that the hard times are there to mold me and make me the
welcome to this week's edition of A Queen's Eye View. 4 women, 4 views, and 4 opinions on one show. We all have 2 eyes, but we don't see things the same. But we respect each other's opinions, and most times leave with an additional perspective. I'm Shay. Alongside me this evening, we have Alicia Coleman, Dawn, and Heidi. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in again this week. Each week we ask you to reach out via your social networking sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm insisting upon saying MySpace, and have your friends and family tune into A Queen's Eye View at www.skyscitymg.com/talk. That's www.skyscitymg.com/talk. Please join and like our network Facebook groups, A Queen's Eye View, Sky City Media Group, and Jericho Broadcast Networks. Please feel free to leave your honest opinions and comments and even future show topics. Well, we're ready to get underway for tonight's program, but before we do, we always like to check in with our queens. All right. Alicia Coleman, how are you today?
I am great. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. So how's your week so far?
Well, I actually fractured my tibia last week, so and that's my shin bone. So I am on crutches right now, but I go in for an appointment tomorrow, and I pray they tell me when I can get off of these crutches.
Oh, no. So you haven't been able to shake that new hair around yet, have you?
No, I haven't, because, no, the next day I was rushed to the clinic to get checked out, and I was on crutches, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't put those pictures up yet, so I'll wait.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Dawn Michelle, how are you tonight?
I'm good.
And your week so far?
Can't complain. Yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Well,
Happy Hump Day.
Right. Glad to hear it. Miss Heidi Reese Anderson, how are you tonight?
No, I'm really good today. It's a Wednesday. I'm glad to have another day, just kind of working hard. I'm getting ready for some exciting changes in my life, but God is good, and I'm really glad to be here tonight because I'm excited to hear our new guest.
Oh, yes. It's going to be a great show. Are you going to ask me how I'm doing? Anybody?
Yeah, I just know, Miss Shay. How are you doing, Miss Shay?
I'm doing well, actually. Things are what they are, as I always say. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, no matter what it is, I trust God. But I, like you, Heidi, am so excited about tonight's show for a couple of reasons. One, we have Marsha Bonner on the phone with us tonight. Hey, Marsha.
Hey there, ladies. How are you?
Doing well. She's our special guest tonight. How's your week been, Marsha?
My week has been incredible. It's been a really, really good week. I've been able to accomplish quite a few things. I'm excited about this conversation, and I am looking forward to answering some questions this evening.
Well, good, because we have lots of them. Oh, that's good. Well, tonight, everybody, our show topic is see something, say something. What would you do? And that leads us to our guest, Marsha R. Bonner. She is the epitome, in my opinion, of a person who leads by example. And I say that, and I won't get ahead of myself, and I say that because I've known Marsha for a very long time. So I can speak to that and say that she truly walks the walk and talks the talk. But before I even get into that, I want Marsha to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about herself before we actually get into why she's on tonight's show. So, Marsha R. Bonner, you have the stage.
Absolutely. And again, thank you, ladies, for having me on the show this evening. My name is Marsha Bonner. I am now the founder of the Hugs Movement, helping us grow spiritually. I am also a motivational speaker, social activist, and entrepreneur. I am dedicating and have always dedicated my existence to helping others in any way that I can. I find that to be a very, very important element of who I am and why I believe I have the opportunity to walk this earth. One of the things that I most am appreciative of is the opportunity to have good people in my life, such as Shay, better known as, well, I call her Shawana, but I'll continue to call her Shay. I think that's what you guys are saying. And others like herself. And now I have you additional ladies as part of my network. And that's always very, very important to me, to have an opportunity to experience others as I go about my day.
Wow. I'm blown away already. How about you, ladies?
Definitely positive and motivating. We definitely need that this week.
Well,
thank you.
One of the reasons that we have Marsha on the show tonight is because, Marsha, when did this happen? When did Denny Moe's situation happen? When was this?
Well, it's a very interesting question that you asked about when it happened, because it all seemed to have happened so quickly. What I can be very clear about is the fact that the What Would You Do television program, which is hosted by John Quiones, the executive producer is his son, Julian Quiones, and that aired on December 3rd. That was the first show. They aired it again the following week, December 10th, that Tuesday. And the reason that they re-aired it was by popular demand. And if you go online, it actually says, by popular demand, we are airing this show again. So the actual date that it was taped, I am not so clear about. The actual time that it was shown, I'm pretty good with that. And the reason that I don't remember is that I didn't even realize that I was being taped until after it was all happening.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listeners, I'll just give you a little bit of background about this. Marsha, well, she probably can tell her story better than, of course, I could, but I'll just start off with when I first heard about it, and I wasn't surprised by it, but I happened to see an episode of What Would You Do? And it happened in a barbershop in Harlem, New York. And you're from New York, Marsha, is that correct?
Born and raised in Brooklyn, have been in New York City all of my life. Living in Harlem, New York right now.
Oh, okay. So it happened in a barbershop. There was a gentleman getting his hair cut. There was another female stylist styling someone else's hair. And obviously it appeared that she was hitting on the gentleman. So the gentleman was getting his hair cut, and walked a white woman. And you can say white woman, Caucasian, but I'll say white. A white woman walks in, and she says, "Hey, baby," to the black gentleman getting his hair cut. So the hairstylist makes a comment about the white woman that came into the shop. So, Marsha, you take it from there. What happens at that point?
Well, to be perfectly honest, to say that she made a statement is an understatement. In terms that we use up here in Harlem, she went in. And what I mean by that is that she immediately began to berate this this Caucasian woman. And as I'm sitting there, I'm feeling very uncomfortable. And what happens is she continues to go on about, I hope you're not planning to have kids, and you don't need to be in this shop, and quite a few statements that just really unsettled me. And I found myself getting into a conversation, because that, in my opinion, is in my opinion, my humble opinion, really the only way to approach situations that seem very disturbing, not only to you but to others. So she goes on, and I engage her in a conversation, and I always try to bring it down a notch. A lot of times what happens is when we are uncomfortable about something, instead of focusing on what the real issue is, we want to throw in a whole lot of rhetoric and a whole lot of other things that might not have anything to do with what it is you're dealing with in the moment. So I try my best to stay in the moment with the individual and help her to understand that maybe the approach she was taking wasn't the best approach to take. And in having an opportunity to do that, it became a conversation as opposed to a fight.
Wow. Wow. So when you said something to her, you said you felt very uncomfortable. Did you feel uncomfortable about speaking to her at first? Did you hesitate at first, or did you immediately know that you were going to say something to her?
Well, for those of you who have watched the video, the first statement that I make is what? And I make that statement primarily because that in that moment, ladies, that was my moment of pause. And I always, whenever I'm in faced with a situation like that, I take a moment of pause and I check myself, I check my intent, I check the reason why I feel it's necessary to say something. I check myself, because if I don't do that, I'm going in a way that might not be conducive to my spiritual well-being.
Right.
So the first statement that I say is what? And then after I've gathered myself and understanding that I need to approach this in a loving, caring way, which is how I try to approach most conversations, if not all that I'm in, it took its own course. There's a term that I like to use sometimes. It's time. Not sometimes. God shows up, and then God shows out. And that's exactly what happened. My lips were moving. I know this was of me and who I am, but the reality of the situation, seeds have been planted throughout the course of my life that has allowed me the opportunity to be able to speak in an intelligent, focused way to an individual who might not have even realized the pain that they were in.
Wow. So let me ask you, would you, let's say a few years prior to this, a couple 24 hours ago, as I like to say, would you have spoken up? Or is this something that has happened in your life since you have grown and gone through some things in your own personal life that allowed you to, I guess, reap those seeds that you have sown, that allowed you to have that what experience?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Shawana. The answer is no. And the reason I can say that so definitively is primarily because as a gay woman, there have been many times as I was growing up that I said nothing. There were jokes made about gays and lesbians, and I just was silent. There were situations that I found myself in various settings where disparaging remarks were made about African Americans, blacks, Negroes, and I said nothing. There were times when I was in situations where we look at them as jokes about women, and I said nothing. What I've learned, and I heard this, and I never let it go, that when you are silent, what you're doing is giving silent confirmation to negative behaviors and actions. And I have made it a point not to do that anymore, because not only does it harm and advocate language and behaviors and perceptions that are not leading us to a positive place,
Right.
it also lessens the authenticity of me, and that I cannot have.
Right. Right. And that's very true. So let me ask you, what do you think causes people to be silent and look the other way? What do you think? The main thing.
The main thing is fear. The main thing is fear. People, and I'm guilty of it, as you just heard, are afraid to say something. The reason that I never said anything when I was working at this company, and this person that I was working for had his own issues, and he sometimes had occasion to make very disparaging remarks about African Americans. Here's a light one. Something happened at the Metro North on 125th in Harlem, and a statement that he made while I was sitting right there was, somebody must have got shot again. Now, in normal circles that he runs in as a Caucasian man, that would just be the norm.
Right.
For me, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And because I didn't have the power, because I needed the job, because I knew I had responsibilities that I had to take care of, because he was my boss, I said nothing. So you got the fear of what saying something will have on me personally, and then you also have the fear of what could happen to me physically. There have been situations as a gay woman where I'm walking in the street, and this has happened on numerous occasions, where people find it necessary to say something about my gayness, my look, maybe my walk, maybe the way that I'm talking, maybe the fact that I might be holding my partner's hand. There's something that is said, and you have to be mindful of the battles that you pick. I'm not saying that every time something happens, we should just jump up and say something. I really hope that's not what your listeners are hearing. What I'm really trying to say is recognize what's happening to you when it's happening. Pick your targets or conversations very carefully. And sometimes the best answer is just to walk away. Keep it moving. That's sometimes. Other times when the opportunity presents itself, as it did in the barbershop for me, ladies, it was my responsibility to address that situation. I can tell you that I just felt that it was necessary, and I responded. The inner voice will let you know. That's why it's so important to take that moment of pause. Listen. Just listen to what's going on within you, and you'll know the best course of action to take.
Let me ask you other ladies on the phone. Let me ask the other queens that are on the phone. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt compelled to speak up but did not? And if you did not speak up, why? Heidi?
Well, that's an everyday occurrence. I'm just going to be honest. What I've learned being in the business world, especially in the world where I go between corporate and nonprofit, is when you are trying to do your job and be professional, a lot of times we all have an image that we, lend ourselves to in that, and we're in that environment. And I have had to downplay a lot of commentary and comments that I hear just in my work environment and dealing with colleagues, because I don't want them to take me as sensitive or immature, or that I'm offensive, or that I'm overly aggressive, because sometimes as Black women we get that stigma. So I can honestly just put it out there. There's a lot of times that I don't say anything at all, and it's not for fear. But I do know that I have to pay bills, and I have a family to take care of, and my career means a lot to me. So I will say that I've been in that position many times.
So you're silent for professional reasons?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
That's understandable. This is Alicia, and I can understand where she's coming from, but for me, I on my job, I mean, it's a little different. I stand up to my coworkers, but I didn't stand up to like the supervisors a lot of times because they were very careful in what they've done in the past, in my past job. So I've had to stand up to some of the men because I'm usually the only female. So there are certain things that I have to stand up to as far as derogatory comments towards women. And I actually had a coworker that liked to use the N word with me. So I had to kind of, and I was like, because there was another black guy that he did it with, and he thought because it was okay with him, it was okay with me. And I was like, no, because I'm not going to call you anything that you feel is derogatory. So I would like for you not to use that language with me. So I would always, and I did get labeled, not necessarily the angry black woman, but you can't say anything in front of her. She's always going to correct you. I mean, even around my friend, people that call me friend, when I hear ladies criticize other ladies or say anything, to put them down, she didn't need to wear that or something like that, and I would always say something. So most of the ladies that I was around, they wouldn't talk around me. They wouldn't talk about people around me. Right. So, but I mean, the show was, actually, this show was the first time I had seen it. I can't think of the name of it. Oh, my goodness. I just had a brain freeze. But that was What Would You Do? That was the first time, the episode that we're talking about tonight was the first time I had ever seen the show. Wow. So I was excited that she stood up because I was like, oh, my goodness, I am so tired of this black women thinking that white women, that black men, that they're property and we own them, and it's like, when are we going to stop doing that as people? Right. So I was really, I was glad she kind of stood up. It made me feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Michelle, have you ever had a situation instance?
I will have to go back to probably agreeing with Heidi in regards to what she said about sometimes, because I know that sometimes I'm a very emotional girl, and I take very much pride in that. It is what it is. It is who I am. So, but as I have become older, I have to realize sometimes that when you speak out of emotion, it's not the best delivery. Mm-hmm. So, like Heidi said, sometimes I won't say anything just for the simple fact that I know I'm in a place of emotion with that at that moment, and that it's going to come off real either abrasive or, I say passionate, but other people probably won't look at it as passionate. They will probably look at it as abrasive or something else. So I will keep my mouth shut until I have either had a chance to pray about it and say, Lord, give me peace with whatever the situation is so that I can speak in a way that's not so emotional so that it comes out more rational. So a lot of times I will hold my tongue in regards to that. Now, as far as this, like, one thing that I really hate about the African-American community is everybody talking about, oh, I'm not going to be a snitch. I'm not going to be a snitch. I'm not going to be a snitch. You know what? I'm a snitch all day long and proud of it. I'm so sick and tired. I am so sick and tired of African-Americans. Now, I'm not saying everybody is like that, but that seems to be something that is more accepted, especially in, I guess, kind of more the urban kind of things, is that you don't snitch. You don't snitch. And I'm just like, we need to stop doing that, because if you, like you said, if you see something, say something. Right. Why is it that everything is always don't be a snitch? Because I'm telling you right now, if I see something, I'm saying something, I'm calling somebody, I'm doing something. Mm-hmm. I'm not just going to sit there and be like, oh, no, I'm not going to be a snitch. Snitches get stitches. Whatever, well, just give me stitches then.
I'm sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to always say, you have to stand for something or you fall for anything. But I think as times have changed and we see bullying so much, from ages of school age, but we also see it more in the workplace now. We used to think bullying was just kids in school, being mean to each other. But bullying has taken on a new life. You see it in the workplace. You see it just amongst friends even. You see competition, what you think is just harmless competition, but it's really bullying, just amongst friends. I've noticed it amongst, I won't say friends, I'll say acquaintances.
Right, right.
Because what you might think is something harmless, if you watch it and if you observe, and like Marsha said, listen and check yourself. When you have that aha or what moment, somebody comes at you with something and you're thinking, that's not right. If it doesn't feel right in your spirit, it's not right.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And people will say things because they'll say it to see how far they can go with it. I have moments and challenges every day, and I find myself coming right back at them, and I'm seen as a person that can be kind of aggressive. Oh, don't say that to her because, she's going to come from left field. But I appreciate that stigma because they don't come to me with any type of nonsense or BS. So I'm okay with that. So before they come correct.
Right.
So I'm okay with that.
Right, right. And ladies, it's also important, and there's a couple of thoughts going through my mind, so I appreciate all of your comments and your feedback, and I applaud you in the approaches that you've taken. One of the things that I've come to understand is that people don't hear you if you are not approaching them in a way that allows them to do so. What I noticed in the video was that there was an opportunity for me to just have a conversation. And I bring this up simply because a lot of times when we're talking to people, we don't really know who we're talking to. People have multiple personalities that they are dealing with during the course of their day. And that's something that we need to be aware of. One of the things, because I'm also a diversity and inclusion executive as well, and I teach diversity and inclusion. I've been on quite a few committees when I was at the New York Times and various places that I've worked. And one of the things that is very important when we are dealing with each other is to try and meet people where they're at. It does the conversation no good for me to try to pull shade to my position. I'm going to make you understand. I'm going to make you believe what I believe. I'm going to make you. The moment you are in a make you conversation, the conversation has already ended. Yes. What is important to understand is that if I'm meeting you where you're at, my response to you is more questioning than directive. So I'm saying things like, well, why do you feel that way? See, I'm trying to understand where you are, because there might have been something that happened in your life that if I didn't ask you that question, if you feel like sharing it, you would have never spoken about. If I am not looking to close the gap in what might become an incendiary conversation, then I'm just wasting my time, wasting your time, and we're not getting anywhere. And that's what has been happening numerous times in our country and in our world. We're not listening to each other. We're not trying to find what I call that sweet spot. I am different from Shawana in many ways. Shawana is different from me. I'm probably different from Heidi, Alicia, and the other young lady on the phone. I apologize, I don't remember your name right now. So when I'm in a conversation with individuals, I look at first trying to identify what our similarities are. In doing that, I allow the conversation to open up to understand what our differences are. I don't know a lot about everything, and I'm so grateful for that. But when I'm in a conversation with someone who's different than me, that is an opportunity for me to improve my human being portfolio. I am now engaged in something new, different, and what could be exciting. So when I find that sweet spot, that thing that's similar, I hold on to that. But I also try to engage in conversations that allow me to embrace different. Oh, so you are of the Jewish faith. Oh, so you're an Arabic. So you're this. Tell me a little bit about that. You know, what types of churches? Did you go to church? Did you not go to church? Oh, you grew up where? In Alaska? Oh my God, India? Tell me a little bit about those places. I'm allowing myself to grow in the moment with you. And there's nothing better than that. So instead of saying, oh, yeah, oh, you from this place? Oh, I heard about that place. I've already shut down the conversation. Open up. Open up your mind. Open up your spirit. Open up you. That's what I'm about, opening up instead of shutting down.
Wow. Very powerful. Well, we're getting ready to take a break, and we're going to be back in just a moment with a Queen's Eye View and our special guest, motivational speaker, Marsha R. Bonner. But she leaves us with know your audience. Check yourself. Meet them where they are. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the Queen's Eye View.
Everyone needs a way to add gold to their financial portfolio. Carrot Bars International makes gold affordable to the masses with the freegoldplan.com. Get gold in 24-karat 999.9% pure gold bullion in small, affordable weights. Save your money in gold and even get paid to share with others how to do the same. No broker fees, no setup fees, and with referrals, your gold can be free. Go to thefreegoldplan.com. That's thefreegoldplan.com now.
Oh, this has been a day I want to forget. From not finding my keys, to running late for my big meeting, then having the client cancel the meeting, to my boss wanting to revamp the entire proposal this weekend. This is really a day for a hot tub and a big glass of my tranquility wine.
The skilled winemakers of Countryside Vineyards craft quality muscadine grapes into fine wine. Known for their distinctive flavors and characters, these hybrid southern grapes create a sweet class of robust wine. So the next time you're out, ask for Tranquility Wines or order yours online today by visiting them at floridavineyard.com.
Now this is just what I needed. Tranquility Wine. Why can't everything be this relaxing?
Tranquility Wines, for those times when nothing else matters. Please enjoy responsibly, and remember, you must be 21 years old to drink.
Stokes and Matthews Media is a boutique media company that specializes in vision coaching, publishing, and marketing for authors, experts, and small business owners. It is the mission of Nadia Matthews and Nicole Stokes to show aspiring writers and seasoned authors how to build lucrative brands using their books as the foundation. Before the company's official launch in September 2014, Stokes and Matthews Media will be offering free online workshops and interviews with industry experts, ebooks, and discounted first-time consultations for individuals who desire to get on the company's 2014-2015 roster. Stokes and Matthews Media is also scouting experienced individuals in the literary publishing, PR, marketing, promotions, and event planning industries to join the team on a freelance and/or internship basis. If you would like to learn more about Stokes and Matthews Media or learn how you can advertise with us, please send a detailed email to info@stokesandmatthewsmedia.com or visit www.stokesandmatthewsmedia.com. Stokes and Matthews Media, where your project is our passion.
Honey, what are we going to do with all these bills? It doesn't make any sense. We make more than enough money to cover everything, but we're still in a hole.
Let's check out Madam Money.
Madam Money? Who is that?
She is a financial expert who helps people like us set and reach our financial goals.
This is great. With her help, we can do all the things that we talked about.
That's right. Now we can take that vacation we've always wanted and not feel stressed.
Hi, this is Tara Jackson, also known as Madam Money, and I can help you clear up all of your financial diseases and those pesky financial STDs.
See, this is why I love you.
Yes, I know.
So check out Madam Money online at tarajackson.com. TARRA Jackson.com.
Lisa, you've been staring at that computer screen for 30 minutes. What's wrong?
Oh, it's my new marketing campaign. I want to tell people how great my business is, but I don't know what to say. I need copy for the website, newsletters, and brochure, and I'm drawing a blank. Writing just isn't my thing.
My boss had the same problem, and he called Put It in Writing Professional Writing Service.
Put it in writing? What's that?
It's a business just for people who need copywriting, but don't have the budget for the big marketing and PR firms. They help my company tell everyone about the great products and services we offer through our website. And when my cousin recorded his CD, Put It in Writing wrote his bio and press release. They even do resumes.
That's good to know, because I'll be looking for a job if this business doesn't take off.
Don't worry. Call the professionals at Put It in Writing at 901-359-6629 and check out the website at putitinwriting2.com. That's putitinwriting, the numeral 2.com.
Hello, good evening. Welcome back to A Queen's Eye View. We are so excited about this evening's show. We are here with Marsha Bonner, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, just all-around wonderful person. The epitome of what I say is be the difference that you want to see. See something, say something. Again, Marsha, thank you so much for being our guest tonight. It's just been awesome in just this few minutes that we've been on the air. It's just been tremendous for me. Again, thank you so very much for being with us tonight.
Absolutely my pleasure, ladies.
We were talking a little bit on break about some other things, and a question was brought up. There are all different types of discrimination, and a lot of times we go through things and we don't speak up. And bullying comes in all forms, as we were talking about before we went to break. And Alicia, you had a question that you had wanted to ask Marsha. Is that correct?
Yes, I did, because I've since I've been I'm taking counseling. I've heard about a young man who's been bullied since he was in elementary, and he's been called gay, and he's been, they've been giving him a hard time. And just recently, when he decided that he wanted to commit suicide, now the school wants to jump in and help and say, oh, we didn't know these things, but they did know. So, just that form of bullying, who is responsible for it, or what can we do to try to combat those kind of things as parents?
That's an excellent question, and I'm glad you've asked it. One thing that I've come to understand about bullying, it's just another discriminatory practice that people use to elevate themselves or justify their own perceptions. I purposely don't use the word misperception because, again, we don't know where people are in their lives and what their experiences are. Whether or not the school should be involved, the parents should be involved, other kids should be involved, I think it's a collective effort that everyone needs to join in to have a conversation about why this exists. Why is it necessary that other kids are practicing a behavior that could cause someone that type of internal turmoil? Yes, I believe that the school should get involved. Yes, I believe that parents, along with the school, should get involved. And let's not leave out the kids themselves. They have a voice. and sometimes we're not listening to what it is they're saying. It's a collective effort. It can't just be the school. It can't just be the parent, and it can't just be the school children colleagues. Everyone needs to get together, and more importantly, if this young man or woman thinking about suicide, now we've taken this to another level, and we need to get the proper psychological professionals involved as well. And I believe those individuals should be leading these types of discussions because it takes a certain savvy and a certain understanding in order to get to a better place. What I call it, and I'm going to put it out there now, we all need to put our arms around this young person, and we all need to put our arms around ourselves and check how we are modeling the behaviors that we exhibit that would cause our young people to think that what they're doing is all right, is cool.
That's very interesting. Amen.
When it's not.
Well, and I guess as parents, we really have to watch what we're saying and some of the things that we say that can be offensive, and the children can take it to another level because they don't have the same understanding that we have, of how damaging it can be to someone. So we have to watch our actions in front of our children.
Absolutely. We are our children's first teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was recently, well, not so recently, but a couple of months ago, this type of question came up, and I encouraged the individual who was a parent to model the behavior that you want to see. And that's not just with our children. That's with everybody that we come in contact with. Model the behavior that you want to see. Some people are going to get it. Some people will not. But you should not change how you are responding, your course of action, what you believe in. Because, we are at a point in our society right now where follow the leader is not actually leading us anywhere. What we've been doing has not been working. The paradigm needs to shift. And, one of the things that I have on my Facebook page is that we are the change that we want to see. So if I'm saying something, I just can't talk about it. I got to be about it. What are you doing, Marsha? What are you actually doing to make a difference? It's not that, oh, yeah, I've been thinking about going to a homeless shelter and speaking. Oh, I've been thinking about going and giving out some food. Oh, I've been thinking about. Stop thinking about it.
Right.
Do it. Just do it. Experience. One of the things that troubles me so very much, your question just went to my core. So that's why I'm a little excited here. I hope I don't scare nobody.
It's passion. It's just passion. Go with it.
Yes.
Is all that is. Well, thank you much. Because I don't have anybody in front of me talking to, but I'm feeling you guys. That's for real. But what I want to say is that we spend a lot of time talking and not enough time doing. And when we begin to behave in a way where sometimes you don't have to say anything, sometimes you just need to put your hand out. Sometimes you just need to. Have you guys ever experienced a situation where you see somebody is down? You're looking in their face and you see they're down, and you don't take that opportunity to just smile at them. Just smile. In the community that I live in, ladies, there are a lot of homeless people, and there are a lot of people who stand on lines and wait for the trucks to bring them food. And there are just things going on in our community that could be seen and perceived and are in some way very distressing. But when I walk by these people, and I don't mean to use the term these people, these individuals, these human beings, these life forces, I don't try to cross the street or I don't want to let them see me because then I might have to acknowledge their existence.
Right.
I make it my business to acknowledge their existence, because each of us, every single one of us, no matter what circumstance that we might find ourselves in right now, matter. We matter. And we have to let each other know that sometimes, that I'm going to smile at you, yes. And if the spirit moves me, I might consider, and I just might do it, give you a few dollars. And if I've got something in my house that I think you could use, I might come upstairs and bring it back downstairs and give it to you. That's living what I call a hub mindset. Embracing, encouraging, and supporting others through our words, actions, and deeds. You know, we will say in our community, how you living? You know, how are you living? You know, and more importantly, what are you living for? What's going to be your legacy?
Right. Absolutely. Wow. How you living?
Yeah.
How are you living? Right. That's a good question. You know, that leads me to the next point. You know, and Marsha, in your opinion, you know, I believe we're in a state of emergency. I mean, we all know what's going on in this. I won't even say the world, the country, just in our own neighborhoods. You know, with the police brutality, with the bullying. I believe leadership. You know, leadership is key, and leadership doesn't have to be Obama. Leadership, you know, doesn't have to start at those levels. I believe leadership starts, as you said, Marsha, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our homes. Yep. You know, but what will it take? Who will it take, in your opinion? Well, what do we need to do? How can we do something today? You know, again, be the difference you want to see. Again, I know I keep saying it, but you are the epitome of that. Like you said, how you living. You know, you did something. You saw something. You said something, and it sparked a fire, or it continued to ignite a fire that was already in you, that just in the last 7 to 9 months that has just taken on a life of its own. And it has impacted so many lives. And that's why I know that one person can change things, because you did that. And if one person, Marsha Bonner, can change something, one person from Harlem, New York, because she saw something and she said something, if she can do this and change so many lives and impact so many lives, what could a couple of more people that had that hugs mentality do?
That's right. And Shawana, you've actually, in a very powerful way, have answered your own question. Who are our leaders? We are our leaders.
Correct.
Who should speak up? We should speak up. Who should take action? We should take action. Who are we? We are human beings with a divine purpose who need to step into our destiny. What is our destiny? To live in an environment where we feel safe, where we feel loved, where we feel encouraged. How do we do that? By just being who we are. Live and embrace a hug mindset and understand who you are. You are not showing up as a spiritual person alone. You are not showing up just physically alone. You are not showing up just mentally alone. Your authenticity involves each of those component pieces. One of the phrases that I used and that we used in an event that I held here in Harlem, we had a hug day, part of an organization that I'm involved with called Cutting for Cure. We held a 48-hour health fair and hair cutting marathon on Frederick Douglass Boulevard between 134th Street and 133rd Street. We had over 4,000 people come through. We provided different entertainment so that we can encourage people to get tested for the different diseases that are impacting our community. I was the project manager for that event. Hear me. Just don't talk about it. Be about it. It was an honor. It was an honor and a privilege to give back in that way. There were people who didn't know they had high blood pressure. There are people who didn't know that they were carrying around something that could negatively infect someone else. As a result of that event, some lives were saved. It was a life-saving event. It was held at a barber shop in our community.
Education and information is the key.
Yeah. So we don't have to wait for the leader to show up. You know what? I'm gonna challenge you. Show up. You show up.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
How about
absolutely.
that challenge? Not the fire challenge, but that challenge.
Yeah.
How about that?
I mean, I don't mean to put it on the challenge that way. I'm just saying, think about it.
No, I accept the challenge. I accept it.
And I love the way she said, just do it, because we keep waiting and say, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do. And I did do that with a lot of things, and it, like, hit home for me. But when I started working downtown and I started meeting so many homeless people, I started doing what she's saying. I just started giving smiles or hugs, or, you know, I'll see somebody not even asking for money and just get, hey, you want me to buy you lunch today? Come on, let's get lunch, or, you know, something like that. Just small things, and you don't know what it can do for a person's day. So, you know, I'm also taking the challenge to, you know, to do some other things and just making a difference.
And I'll tell you a quick story. You know, it's funny you say that, because one day I was coming through downtown Atlanta, and I was riding right through the heart of downtown, and I came to a overpass, and under here was a homeless person sitting underneath the overpass, and I had picked up some McDonald's. And knowing that I did not need the McDonald's, and I took a bite of the filet of fish and a sip of the soda and 3 of the fries. And this was on when I began my weight loss journey. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to eat these. So anyway, the food had gotten cold, so traffic stopped, and I happened to stop right in front of this homeless man. And he had his sign out. Now, normally, you know, you roll your window up, you turn your head, and you look and say, oh, God, why me? But this time I looked over, and I rolled my window down. And I asked him, are you hungry? And he looked at me as if to say, really? You know, you really asked me that question? So I said, I have this food in here. I said, it's cold. I said, I took a bite off of the sandwich and a sip of the soda. Do you still want it? And he said, of course I do. So I gave him that food. And as I began to ride home, I said, you know what? I could do better. I know I could do better. So I called a friend of mine. I said, do you still feed the homeless sometimes? And she said, well, yeah. And she would go out and feed the homeless by herself, make sandwiches and take it out. So I said, well, we need to do that. So she said, okay, we'll do that. So anyway, she and I did it one time. The next time I asked her to come out, she had something to do, and she didn't do it. But I began to go down there every week by myself. I would come in here, I would make sandwiches, I would go and buy fruit, I would buy juices, I would put together bags, put them in a box, and I would go there and hand them out. Now, people would ask me, aren't you afraid to go? And I said, afraid? These people look forward to me coming. I would forego eating stuff that I might want to eat so that I could make sure I had enough that I could take them food. And I would feed between 75 and 125 people within 35 minutes.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear.
And I didn't do it for kudos. I didn't do it because I wanted people to say, oh, look what she's doing. When I would pull up in my car, they would line up. I would hand out, anybody who knows me knows I'm a germ person, so I would hand out handy wipes or hand sanitizer for them, just for them to clean their hands. You know, although, you know, they would make jokes and say, it'll take me a whole bottle of just to get my hands clean. And we would laugh, you know, and if they would touch my hand, I wouldn't, you know, pull my hand back. And they would just say, you know, just, I don't know who sent you or why you're here, but I just thank God. And I would leave every time crying because I did not have enough to feed them. And one man said, ma'am, you're doing more than anybody else does. Don't you ever feel bad about what you're doing. But I just said, it's got to be so much more that we could do. But just me alone, if I could feed 75 to 125 people with just some sandwiches and some juice and some fruit and some raisins and cups, you know, and it just became my way. I couldn't sleep at night for thinking what I was going to do the next day. I would freeze water so they'd have cold water in the summer. And they would say, you froze this for us? Because I'd want cold water in the summertime.
Yeah,
but like we say, be the difference you want to see. Because, you know I'm just a spark away from homelessness and $1 away from broke. So I know I could be on the receiving end of that one day.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I want to share something with you ladies, and that I think is very important. And Shawana, thank you so much for reaching out, and I'm sure each of you have done that at different times in your lives. You might have not even recognized that you were helping someone. So you hear me now, and you hear me speaking, and you hear me doing and being involved in so many other things. And I'm sure we might have an opportunity to talk about that. But I have a story. My story might not be unique. It might not be what others might feel is dramatic, and I'm not looking for dramatic interlude right here. I just want to share this with you because what you shared, Shawana, touched me. Prior to getting a bachelor's degree, prior to getting a master's degree, prior to working at Fortune 500 companies, prior to finding my way somehow through God's grace and mercy on a hidden camera show that carried a message of love that has touched over 40 million people. Prior to all of that, right, I am a recovering crack addict with 25 years clean today. Okay, so let me hit the reset button. That person that you are feeding, Shawana, that individual who you guys might be smiling at, that person who you thought about reaching out to needs you. And why do I say that? Because I am that person. I was in those shoes. I was on the street. I understand what it is to have the marshals come to my door and put the lock on it, and me being in a state of total confusion and denial, put my key into the marshal's lock thinking that it was going to open up the door. You know, I know what it's like to sleep underneath a bench, right? I know what it's like to live in a hole. I know what it's like to have Little Debbie's and 25-cent orange juices on a day as my meal for the whole month. I've lived it. One of the things that I encourage people to do is be authentic. You know, share not what you think, but what it is you know. Tell me who you are so that I can find my way through to the place where you are. No, I might not be a person who works at a Fortune 500 company, but every morning that I walk into that job and they hand me that broom, I'm going to be the best broom sweeping individual they have ever seen, because I have arrived to the place where the God of my understanding wants me to be, and I'm grateful for it. Just darn grateful for it.
Wow. On that, stay with us. We're going to take a break, but we are coming back with Marsha Bonner, who has encouraged, motivated, and inspired me, and I trust she has done the same for you. Stay with us. A Queen's Eye View is coming back with more of Marsha Bonner.
Everyone needs a way to add gold to their financial portfolio. Carrot Bars International makes gold affordable to the masses with the freegoldplan.com. Get gold in 24-karat 999.9% pure gold bullion in small, affordable weights. Save your money in gold and even get paid to share with others how to do the same. No broker fees, no setup fees, and with referrals, your gold can be free. Go to thefreegoldplan.com. That's thefreegoldplan.com now.
Oh, this has been a day I want to forget. From not finding my keys, to running late for my big meeting, then having the client cancel the meeting, to my boss wanting to revamp the entire proposal this weekend. This is really a day for a hot tub and a big glass of my tranquility wine.
The skilled winemakers of Countryside Vineyards craft quality muscadine grapes into fine wine. Known for their distinctive flavors and characters, these hybrid southern grapes create a sweet class of robust wine. So the next time you're out, ask for Tranquility Wines or order yours online today by visiting them at floridavineyard.com.
Now this is just what I needed. Tranquility Wine. Why can't everything be this relaxing?
Tranquility Wines, for those times when nothing else matters. Please enjoy responsibly, and remember, you must be 21 years old to drink.
Stokes and Matthews Media is a boutique media company that specializes in vision coaching, publishing, and marketing for authors, experts, and small business owners. It is the mission of Nadia Matthews and Nicole Stokes to show aspiring writers and seasoned authors how to build lucrative brands using their books as the foundation. Before the company's official launch in September 2014, Stokes and Matthews Media will be offering free online workshops and interviews with industry experts, ebooks, and discounted first-time consultations for individuals who desire to get on the company's 2014-2015 roster. Stokes and Matthews Media is also scouting experienced individuals in the literary publishing, PR, marketing, promotions, and event planning industries to join the team on a freelance and/or internship basis. If you would like to learn more about Stokes and Matthews Media or learn how you can advertise with us, please send a detailed email to info@stokesandmatthewsmedia.com or visit www.stokesandmatthewsmedia.com. Stokes and Matthews Media, where your project is our passion.
Honey, what are we going to do with all these bills? It doesn't make any sense. We make more than enough money to cover everything, but we're still in a hole.
Let's check out Madam Money.
Madam Money? Who is that?
She is a financial expert who helps people like us set and reach our financial goals.
This is great. With her help, we can do all the things that we talked about.
That's right. Now we can take that vacation we've always wanted and not feel stressed.
Hi, this is Tara Jackson, also known as Madam Money, and I can help you clear up all of your financial diseases and those pesky financial STDs.
See, this is why I love you.
Yes, I know.
So check out Madam Money online at tarajackson.com. TARRA Jackson.com.
Lisa, you've been staring at that computer screen for 30 minutes. What's wrong?
Oh, it's my new marketing campaign. I want to tell people how great my business is, but I don't know what to say. I need copy for the website, newsletters, and brochure, and I'm drawing a blank. Writing just isn't my thing.
My boss had the same problem, and he called Put It in Writing Professional Writing Service.
Put it in writing? What's that?
It's a business just for people who need copywriting, but don't have the budget for the big marketing and PR firms. They help my company tell everyone about the great products and services we offer through our website. And when my cousin recorded his CD, Put It in Writing wrote his bio and press release. They even do resumes.
That's good to know, because I'll be looking for a job if this business doesn't take off.
Don't worry. Call the professionals at Put It in Writing at 901-359-6629 and check out the website at putitinwriting2.com. That's putitinwriting, the numeral 2.com.
Are you in need of a dessert for a special event? Maybe a custom birthday cake. I know, it's your wedding day and you want a cake that will stimulate your taste buds and capture and create the memories for that special day. Well, Sweet Destination should be your choice. Let Master Sweet Designer Montevia Gamble create a unique and delicious cake for your special occasion. But that's not all. Sweet Destination also creates other desserts, from cheesecakes, homemade fudge, brownies, cookies, pies, cake pops, cupcakes, and just about anything that you can think of. So check them out at sweetdestinations.com or on Facebook under Sweet Destinations. Remember, the greatest conversations take place on the road to the sweetest destinations of the human mind. So let's do more than business. Let's make memorable moments. We are Sweet Destinations.
I'm Shay.
I'm Alicia Coleman.
We've got Dawn.
And Heidi.
Hey, it's Heidi.
And we're a Queen's Eye View, and we have our special guest. You there?
I'm right here.
Marsha Bonner. Yay! Hey, I'm going to go ahead and give the phone number out. I'm sorry, everybody. We've just been hogging her for ourselves. The number to call in if you have any questions or comments, it's 678-701-3738. That's 678-701-3738. Go ahead, call in. You have an opportunity to speak with Marsha or any of the queens here on the show this evening for questions and or comments. And we're talking about tonight, see something, say something. Be the difference you want to see. You know, and during break, you know, we had a conversation, and it was mentioned that, you know, there are a lot of unsung heroes that are out there every day doing things, you know, whether it's feeding the homeless or donating their time, talent, and or treasure to helping those that are in need. And it's true. And we do need to salute those unsung heroes. They're doing it like I did it for no recognition, for no kudos, but just because it's on their heart and in their spirit to be the difference that they want to see. And we do salute all of those out there, all of you out there that do something, whether donating time, talent, and or your treasure. And we appreciate it, and those that you're helping, they truly appreciate it. So,
no doubt.
We salute you. We salute you for that. You know, and going back into our topic, you know, the next thing that we'd like to talk about for a few minutes with you, Marsha, is, again, we were talking about the state of emergency that we're in and about, of course, you know, Mike Brown that lost his life and Eric Garner right there not far from you who lost his life recently. The topic I want to talk about is authority, you know, respecting authority. Now, when I say respecting authority, I'm not necessarily talking about respecting the cops or law enforcement necessarily, but who is considered an authority figure? Who is the authority?
Mm-hmm. In my humble opinion, anyone who is the authority figure? Let me hit the reset button on it because I got too many thoughts going through my head. There are many people who have authority. The police have authority. Judges have authority. Your parents have authority. There are many authority figures around me each and every day. My boss has authority. On different occasions, I have the authority. But if we're talking about in our day-to-day lives, out in the world that we walk in, right about now, the police department has the authority to make decisions on how we engage with each other in open settings. And that authority on many levels needs to be respected. However, and I preface this with, and the people who they are imposing authority on also need to be respected. The gap, for some reason, has not closed, and it is, I am committed to gaining and continuing to gain a better understanding as to why this problem continues to exist. This is not a new problem. I was recently listening to, and I posted on my Facebook page, and I have two pages. I have Marsha Bonner page, and I also have a Hugs Movement, Helping Us Grow Spiritually page. And on both of those pages, I put up a piece that was shared by Melissa Harris Perry of MSNBC. And she did a tribute to the lost lives that were killed by the police. And she went through the last 10 years, and she mentioned some names that I'd like to share now. Timothy Stansbury, 2004, Brooklyn, New York. Sean Bell, 2006, Queens, New York. Oscar Grant, 2009, Oakland, California. Aaron Campbell, 2010, Portland, Oregon. Alonzo Ashley, 2011, Denver, Colorado. Wendell Allen, 2012, New Orleans, Louisiana. Jonathan Farrell, 2013, Charlotte, North Carolina. Eric Garner, 2014, Staten Island, New York. Michael Brown, August 9th, 2014, Ferguson, Missouri. I share that in honor of those young men who lost their lives through police brutality, senseless killings. I am doing my best to educate myself so that I can have informed discussions about the issue that we're facing. Authority is needed in our country, in our society. We can't dismiss the fact that we all need protection. When our houses are broken in, we're going to call the police. When someone harms us, we're going to call the police. When things are going on that we feel that a police intervention is necessary, we are going to call them. But we also need to help them to understand that we also need them to understand who we are. We need a better understanding of engagement. This is just another opportunity for us as a society to begin to reach out to the police departments, go to these community meetings, share our voices, share our concerns, speak up, be in the marches, be in the rallies that are taking place right now. Let you be heard in the hopes that change will come. And we've been wanting change for a very long time. And it's not just African Americans, it's Hispanics, it's Asian, it's older people. Everyone is being impacted because something is not happening in the police academy, in the police precinct, that is translating in a positive way to the society that they have been charged with protecting and serving. Protect and serve. Key word, serve. Protect.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. We've got some stuff that needs to be addressed. No doubt. No doubt.
And how do you think, or we all know that we have rights. We have rights as individuals. But how do we go about knowing what those rights are? You know, who can teach us what those rights are? How do we teach our children, our young black men, and our young black women? Because we hear a lot about young black males being killed, but there has been some young black women that were killed. You know, not at the hands necessarily of police officers, but of other Caucasian or white individuals. You know, in Michigan, end of last year, I believe the man just was sentenced earlier this month or last month for killing the young lady who stumbled upon his porch. She had an accident. She was drunk, and she knocked on his door, and he shot her through the door and killed her. That was happened in Detroit. And, you know, he said that he wasn't aware, you know, heard her knock at the door, and he was afraid. He was protecting his home. But she was an unarmed black female teenager. He killed her, but he was charged. You know, unlike George, what was his name? Trayvon Martin. George Zimmerman. What is it?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Jordan Davis.
Trayvon Martin.
Oh,
the one
okay.
Trayvon Martin.
Okay.
Was it George?
Gotcha. George Zimmerman, yes.
Right, George Zimmerman, correct. You know, but they didn't arrest either one of those initially, you know, at first. You know, but how do we know what our rights are? Where can we learn that?
We have to educate ourselves. We have the tools and resources to educate ourselves. We have the people around us who can to help to educate us. This is, you know, information is not hidden from anyone, whether they're black, lesbian, gay, you know, you know, civil liberties runs the gamut. Where do we get the information? We have to get up and go get it. We can't wait for somebody to have a speech and tell us what it is we need to know. Though that is helpful too. But sometimes we need to go and search out what it is we need to understand. And that's only a piece of it, Shawana. The other and ladies, the other piece is that in the interim of that, we need to understand how to navigate in the society that we are living in. It is not the perfect society, but if we don't educate ourselves in when to now throw your hands up, when to keep your mouth shut, when to just abide so that you can see tomorrow more deaths will come. Keeping it real and all of this other stuff, it has a place. But I don't think that place, in my humble opinion, is when you have been stopped and you know that they are stopping you for no reason. Take that moment of pause, check what's going on, and respond in the moment in a way that you will see tomorrow.
Yes. And that was the question I had. Do you just, what rights do we have, and do you just go along to get along and deal with it later? When I thought of that question, that was my interpretation. My son is 22 years old, and I'd want to tell him, don't tempt fate. If you haven't done anything, if everything's on the up and up, and even if it's not, you answer the questions, keep your hand visible, and just go along to get along so that you can see tomorrow, so that you can contact me, so that we can work our way through that situation. But don't think you have to speak out or show face for those people that are around you, because it may cost you your life.
That is correct. And we need to teach our young people that, and it doesn't feel that great when you're saying it, but all we're trying to do is to help them. And in some way, when we begin to come together in order to address these issues in the venues that we can address them, I am very, very appreciative of the commitment that Reverend Al Sharpton has shown in order to bring the issues to light. We are now facing another civil rights movement, but it's not just for African Americans. This is a civil rights movement for humankind. We're all in this now. We are all facing challenges through what the actions of the police have not been complementary to our moving forward to see another day. We are all experiencing it. So we are facing another movement, and I'm encouraging people to move, to get involved with something so that we can see noticeable change. If you want to see the change, you've got to be involved in it. I can't wait for Shawana to make it happen for me. Shawana can't wait for me to make it happen for her son. Right. Nor can my other friends do that. They have got to step up. We have all got to do our part. And whatever part we feel most comfortable in engaging in, that's another thing. Don't let nobody force you to do something that you ain't ready to do. Find your niche. That might be on the telephone, calling, asking for dollars. Find your niche. That might be attending a PTA meeting to talk about how, your kids are being protected inside the school and when they leave the school. Find your niche, but find something that you can do to address this. It's mind-boggling issue that we're facing. And it's not just here in the United States. It's around the world.
It is.
But Shawana Shay said something about go along and get along, and I agree that sometimes you do have to do that. But I won't even say go along to get along. I'll say do what you're supposed to do, handle the situation in the proper manner, and then you hold the power. Because if they do something to you that they should not have done, but you still hold your ground and do what you're supposed to do, then you have something to go on. And at the end of the day, if I'm treated wrong, but I know I did what I was supposed to do. I didn't get smart with the officer. I didn't say anything inappropriate. I was calm, I was cool, I was collected, but at the same time, I know I'm being treated wrongly. Hopefully, I'm doing something to either get some proof of that, like either recording the conversation or trying to video record it or something. But even if you don't have that, you still have power when you do what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
And then you can go to a higher authority because they have bosses too. So at the end of the day, if something happens, I'm just like, okay, well, if I was treated wrongly, then I can just go to their boss and I will fight and fight and fight until I feel like they get the punishment that they deserve. Because if I didn't do anything wrong, then what do I have to lose? But when you go about it the wrong way and then you give them a reason to do something, it's just making things worse. This is like, the whole situation in Missouri, it was just like all these people coming up and trying to be violent. And I was like, that's not helping the fact that Michael died. Well, not Michael, I'm sorry. That he, it's not fair. It's not fair that he died, but being violent and all the stuff that they were doing and having the cops out there and all these people getting arrested and stuff, I was like, that's not the correct way to handle it. It's just not.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's something I wanted to put out there, and just to remind everybody, the more educated our generations and our young people become on the rules, the laws, and the things that are around them, what you need to realize is that makes you more dangerous. So people are and I work with law enforcement, so I'm just putting this out here because this is the reality of the situation. They're counting on folks not reading, not researching, not knowing. But the more our kids know, the more they bring out camera phones, tapes, the more the threat is going to rise. So then, to piggy off what Don just said, the way you handle the situation does give you the power, because not only do you know what the real deal is, you know the laws, you know how you're supposed to react, but once you let them do what they did, then you can take your next step. And a lot of people don't realize that it's going to continue to get worse. It's not going to get better. We are moving into another civil rights because of the fact that now all of our stuff is on blast with social media, cameras, and everything else. And there are cameras all over the place watching you from the street as well, whether you're in the store or whether you're on the corner or driving down the street. So as long as people can now see these things, it's going to escalate. So, yes, you do need to be the change that you want to see, but you're right, you do hold the power, because the more knowledge you have, the better you can protect yourself.
That is correct. That is correct. I agree 100%. It's not, and the knowledge also needs to, we need to remind ourselves of where we've come from, right? Because there's a statement that Melissa Harris Perry makes in the video, and there was a Supreme Court Chief Justice Roger Taney, Taney, and in the dialogue she states that he stated the black man has no rights which the white man was bound to respect. Now that was at the Supreme Court level in 1857. For some reason, this ideology continues to be pervasive in our society. That, for some reason, has stuck. She put it out there for a reason, to remind us that the struggle, the challenge is not over, that we need to know what the history is telling us, to understand why things might be the way they are, and how important it is for us to educate ourselves in order to move things forward. We've got to move the needle on this. And one of the ways to do that is to educate ourselves on the past so that we know what we need to do in the present so that we can have a better future.
That's interesting, and I think that we have to really look at within ourselves. Like I know earlier, the ladies were saying we don't want to be stereotyped, but it's a battle. It's really going to be a battle for us to get where we need to be. And the thing about it is we have to start with us, within us first. So and know that's what the society, in some cases, that's how society views us as a people.
I was in the barbershop the other day, and I was talking about this issue, and I purposely was having the conversation. And the reason I was purposely having the conversation is that I'm not a black male, and I wanted to understand how they show up day to day. And one of the gentlemen said clearly to me that I leave my house feeling like I am prey, that I'm being hunted, and that sent chills through my body. Definitely. And he's a young man, and he feels this way inside, that when he leaves his house, his guard has to be up at all times, that he is prey. Animals are prey. We are not prey. None of us are. And to have to live that way is very disheartening.
It is. Truly it is.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, we're going to go take a break, but we're coming back with Marsha Bonner, motivational speaker, entrepreneur. See something, say something. Be the difference you want to see. Stay with us. A Queen's Eye View will be right back.
Everyone needs a way to add gold to their financial portfolio. Carrot Bars International makes gold affordable to the masses with the freegoldplan.com. Get gold in 24-karat 999.9% pure gold bullion in small affordable weights. Save your money in gold and even get paid to share with others how to do the same. No broker fees, no setup fees, and with referrals, your gold can be free. Go to thefreegoldplan.com. That's thefreegoldplan.com now.
Oh, this has been a day I want to forget. From not finding my keys, to running late for my big meeting, then having the client cancel the meeting, to my boss wanting to revamp the entire proposal this weekend. This is really a day for a hot tub and a big glass of my tranquility wine.
The skilled winemakers of Countryside Vineyards craft quality muscadine grapes into fine wine. Known for their distinctive flavors and characters, these hybrid southern grapes create a sweet class of robust wine. So the next time you're out, ask for Tranquility Wines or order yours online today by visiting them at floridavineyard.com.
Now this is just what I needed. Tranquility Wine. Why can't everything be this relaxing?
Tranquility Wines, for those times when nothing else matters. Please enjoy responsibly, and remember, you must be 21 years old to drink.
Stokes and Matthews Media is a boutique media company that specializes in vision coaching, publishing, and marketing for authors, experts, and small business owners. It is the mission of Nadia Matthews and Nicole Stokes to show aspiring writers and seasoned authors how to build lucrative brands using their books as the foundation. Before the company's official launch in September 2014, Stokes and Matthews Media will be offering free online workshops and interviews with industry experts, ebooks, Stokes and discounted first-time consultations for individuals who desire to get on the company's 2014-2015 roster. Stokes and Matthews Media is also scouting experienced individuals in the literary publishing, PR, marketing, promotions, and event planning industries to join the team on a freelance and/or internship basis. If you would like to learn more about Stokes and Matthews Media or learn how you can advertise with us, please send a detailed email to info@stokesandmatthewsmedia.com or visit www.stokesandmatthewsmedia.com. Stokes and Matthews Media, where your project is our passion.
Honey, what are we going to do with all these bills? It doesn't make any sense. We make more than enough money to cover everything, but we're still in a hole.
Let's check out Madam Money.
Madam Money? Who is that?
She is a financial expert who helps people like us set and reach our financial goals.
This is great. With her help, we can do all the things that we talked about.
That's right. Now we can take that vacation we've always wanted and not feel stressed.
Hi, this is Tara Jackson, also known as Madam Money, and I can help you clear up all of your financial dis-eases and those pesky financial STDs.
See, this is why I love you.
Yes, I know.
So check out Madam Money online at tarajackson.com. TARRA Jackson.com.
Lisa, you've been staring at that computer screen for 30 minutes. What's wrong?
Oh, it's my new marketing campaign. I want to tell people how great my business is, but I don't know what to say. I need copy for the website, newsletters, and brochure, and I'm drawing a blank. Writing just isn't my thing.
My boss had the same problem, and he called Put It in Writing Professional Writing Service.
Put it in writing? What's that?
It's a business just for people who need copywriting, but don't have the budget for the big marketing and PR firms. They help my company tell everyone about the great products and services we offer through our website. And when my cousin recorded his CD, Put It in Writing wrote his bio and press release. They even do resumes.
That's good to know, because I'll be looking for a job if this business doesn't take off.
Don't worry. Call the professionals at Put It in Writing at 901-359-6629 and check out the website at putitinwriting2.com. That's putitinwriting, the numeral 2.com.
Are you in need of a dessert for a special event? Maybe a custom birthday cake. I know, it's your wedding day and you want a cake that will stimulate your taste buds and capture and create the memories for that special day. Well, Sweet Destination should be your choice. Let master sweet designer Montevia Gamble create a unique and delicious cake for your special occasion. But that's not all. Sweet Destination also creates other desserts, from cheesecakes, homemade fudge, brownies, cookies, pies, cake pops, cupcakes, and just about anything that you can think of. So check them out at sweetdestinations.com or on Facebook under Sweet Destinations. Remember, the greatest conversations take place on the road to the sweetest destinations of the human mind. So let's do more than business. Let's make memorable moments. We are Sweet Destinations.
There were, back in the day, I forget what I was watching, but the girl said she didn't have any clothes. She said she washed the same two dresses.
Come back. Hi, welcome back to A Queen's Eye View. I'm Shay. And we have Alicia Coleman.
I'm sorry.
And this is Lady.
I'm Dawn.
And we have our guest,
Marsha Bonner. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you. And we're talking about see something, say something. Be the difference you want to see. You know, we were talking on break, something I think is interesting to bring up. You know, does our appearance affect the way people look at us? Ladies? Your thoughts?
I think that they do.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that they do. I mean, it's just certain things that I remember I was taught. I mean, I know things are a little different now. Like back in the day, women wore slips. Okay, women don't wear slips now. Okay, back in the day, you know, women wore pantyhose. Okay, I still personally wear pantyhose sometimes, but not all the time. And it's not really, pantyhose aren't really a thing that women do now. You know, we've kind of changed with the times, and I get that. But there are still certain things that I remember I was taught coming up as a little girl that my mom taught me, and little things that my father taught my brother that are just supposed to be appropriate. My brother is 7 years younger than me, and not a day in his life has he ever went to school with his pants hanging halfway off his behind. Why? Because my dad was not going to have it. My dad was not going to have it. You are not going to walk out of this house like that. And I just feel like, I mean, I know the kids are, you want to be cool and you want to fit in with your friends and all of that. But still, there's just, I don't know, I just feel like there's some lack of something going on with that. And I mean, still like I said, some of the things that I still hold dear to my heart to this day were taught to me when I was a young girl growing up. And I just felt like was supposed to be appropriate behavior for a young lady. And it's supposed to be appropriate behavior for a young man.
I agree. I agree.
Well, I just I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that, and this is just to make a point, because since we're talking about the state of the emergency and the situations we're dealing with, a lot of people who are getting harassed and pulled over are everyday folks who don't have their pants hanging off their butt, who are leaving business meetings, they're home standing in front of their mailboxes and just going through everyday life. And they all seem to have the same profile. They're all black, they're all male, whether they're dressed appropriately or not. So even though I agree with Dawn, because I grew up in a different generation than most of these kids, no way I'm coming out like that, because I had two parents who taught me that. But there's 2 points I just want to make. I would get with that argument completely if I wasn't harassed for just walking down a street because somebody didn't think I fitted in a neighborhood. And I'm a businesswoman, and that has happened to me. So, you know, at this point, I mean, whether you have on appropriate clothes or not, it just seems like the profile is young and black, male or female. Professors have been harassed. We saw a professor thrown on the ground 3 weeks ago on Facebook by a policeman. They didn't care, and she had a university badge. So at this point, I'm just saying that there's 2 sides to that argument, but I totally understand Don's position.
And I agree with both of you ladies for different reasons. The number one reason being that it should not matter what an individual is wearing or how they're wearing it and so forth and so on as to whether or not they're stopped by a cop. So there definitely is some profiling going on, no doubt about that. How people present themselves, we are all from a place that we at least understand that in order to get the part, you have to present yourself in a way to show that you want the part. So when you show up for a job, you know, make sure that your attire represents the position that you're going for. We all get that. One of the things that I'm discouraged about, and I don't want to say discouraged, that because I understand on some level that in order to get them to pull their pants up, we have to get them to pull their minds up.
Absolutely.
And I heard someone else share that, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But it wasn't until I was in a conversation with them that I was like, I don't get it. I wish they'd just fix that and all of this other stuff. And they said they will, but they have to get to a place where they understand how important that is. And many of our young people are not at that place, and they don't understand the significance and where the having the pants down piece comes in at. Behind the walls in jails, that is an invitation to engage. So there is, when there are certain symbolisms that they're carrying around that they don't even understand where it comes from, how it got there, or whatever the case may be. So we're past that now. We're at the point where they've adopted this swag. They call it swag, and this is the way they're going to roll, and it identifies who they are, and so forth and so on. We've all went through that as we've grown up, and it has gotten to where we are now. So is it bad? Is it good? Is it this? Is it that? In this society, it should not matter, but it does. So again, we've got to educate our young people in how to engage in the society that they're living in. Meet this society where it's at. If you want people to respect you in a way that will get you to where it is you think you need to be, then be that first. Let that light shine. You want that job, dress like you want that job. Take certain pieces of metal out of your face so that when you show up, you are showing up, letting the individual know that you are in some way that you are responsible and all of that stuff. You only get one chance. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that's it. And so I understand where both of you ladies are coming from. I agree with both of what it is you're saying, and it's all about the education. How do we get them to understand that there's a way to do it? There's a way to do it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to go ahead and give out the number again. We do have about 15, 20 minutes left, and if someone wants to call in, the number is 678-701-3738. That's 678-701-3738. I'll also ask if you guys will go ahead and like our Facebook page. I see a lot of you are doing that now, A Queen's Eye View. Again, like our Facebook page at A Queen's Eye View. I remember my son's grandmother used to always, rest in peace, it's been 2 years since she passed on, but she used to always say to me, Shawana, as Marsha's put the government name out there, and I noticed that Dawn was calling me Shawana. I was like, see that? You come on the show now, my name has changed. She used to always say, prepare for war in the time of peace. And I don't know if she made that up or if it came from somewhere, but I'm going to give her credit because that's the first time I heard it was from her. And I believe we are in a war situation already, but I understand now it means different things for me at different times in my life. But right now, when it says prepare for war in a time of peace, it means for me now that we know what's happening. We know what's coming down the pipeline. We see it already. Now, whether it's reached your home, your neighborhood, or your family yet, it's coming. It may not have touched you yet, but it's on the way. So you need to be informed. You need to learn all those things now. Like Marsha said, don't wait for it to show up before you start trying to get the information. Research now. Find out what it is you need to know so that when it does come, you are prepared. Because the war is here. It just hasn't shown up at your door yet.
It's a wonderful opportunity for us to hit the reset button on how we're engaging with one another, especially our young people. They're a particular focus to me right now. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be.
This line is now off hold.
Happiness, 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 joy. Oh, no, 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 happiness. No, no. She hurt me, though I kept trying. Betrayed me, inside I'm dying. So I called my mother to comfort me. She said, I know the pain seems like it just won't die, but son, I told you, you need only give him one try, and he'll erase the rain, remove the pain in you. Why do you keep putting faith in man? And you know God's the only one with a plan. He holds the key to unlock your joy. All happiness lies in Him. Then he heard me, thought he was my best friend, but his words weren't true. It brought my world to an end until I called the Father from which my blessings flow. I want you to know. In conversations with God, He told me that the hard times are there to mold me and make me the man He wants me to be. All weapons formed against me shall fail. With His love and grace I prevail. And if I seek Him first,
Ladies, are you there?
then will I see. Oh, oh, oh. He told me to love my enemies and those that hate me, and I will bless them. 'Cause I will pray for them if you will pray for me.
line is now off hold.
Lies in Then he heard me, thought he was my best friend, but his words weren't true. It brought my world to an end until I called the Father from which my blessings flow. I want you to know. In conversations with God, he told me that the hard times are there to mold me and make me the man he wants me to be. All weapons formed against me shall fail. With his love and grace I prevail. And if I seek him first, only then will I see. Oh, oh, oh. He told me to love my enemies and those that hate me, and I will bless them. 'Cause I will pray for them if you will pray for me. And then my mother said, why do you keep putting faith in that faith in you know God's the only one with the He's the only one with the joy. All happiness lies in Him. Hey, God is doing it for me. Why do you keep putting faith in you? When don't keep putting God's the only one with the He's the only one with the plan. Unlock your joy. Unlock your joy. All happiness lies in Him.
Hi, welcome back to A Queen's Eye View. We apologize, but it appears there were some technical difficulties, so we apologize for that. Hi, ladies, are you there? Queens, are you there? Queens, are you there?
Marsha Bonner.
Okay. We apologize, listeners, for that. Something happened with technology. You know, when it's good, but when it goes down, it goes down. Sorry, Marsha Bonner.
No worries at all, ladies.
Okay. Well, we were nearing the end of the show, but we didn't want to end it like that. Listeners, we appreciate your participation. Oh, okay. Queens, are you there? Alicia? You're there? I see you there. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. I see you there. All right. Heidi and Dawn, I see you guys are back. Okay. Well, we were talking about before we lost you guys, or before we all got lost, we were just wrapping up for the show, and Marsha was making some of her closing comments there. And you were telling us, Marsha, about A Diamond in the Rough.
Yeah, actually, the name of the organization is A Cause, A Concern, A Solution. Mm-hmm. And on Saturday, September 20th, I'll be participating with some other women in the community to speak to young ladies between the ages of 12 to 24. And the symposium was created to empower the teenage girls and young ladies. So that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to. And there are quite a few other opportunities that I've been afforded as a result of now having a platform to communicate with our community and to encourage others to do so. I've already mentioned the Hugs movement. I've had an opportunity to be on various television shows at this point, and this is all through the God that I honor, grace and mercy. So I'm real clear about the fact that it is my voice, but it is truly His message, and I'm honored to carry it. One of love, one of compassion, one of empathy, and one of get up and do something. Be the difference that you want to see. The topic that you ladies chose tonight goes right to my core, goes right to my heart, and it has truly been an honor to be a part of this conversation. And also I want to mention for individuals who like to follow people like me. I am on Facebook under my own personal page, Marsha Bonner, or you can follow me on Hug the Movement. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. So if you're interested in getting some and receiving some uplifting, hopefully empowering, motivating conversation and words, not just from myself, but from others around the world, feel free to chime in. You are welcome to do so. And you can continue to learn more about me on the marketing page that I have. My marketing group is Savvy Marketing Entertainment Group, www.smegSite.com. And there's one other thing I wanted to mention. Again, be about it. I have been asked to invite individuals. I have 40 slots available for an Apollo, APOLLO, the world-famous Apollo, is having a Harlem Healthy Soul Festival on Saturday, September 13th. I have taken a slot of 12 p.m. to 1:15. So I'm inviting people to come to my page and send me a message. I can only take the first 40 if you're interested. 12 p.m. to 1:15 at the Apollo Theater. There's going to be a Harlem Healthy Soul Festival, and they are going to have some performances, and I'm happy to bring along as many people as I can. We're going to have Dr. John Palmer speaking. Faith Evans is going to perform. Dr. Ian Smith and DJ Big Tigger is also going to be there. So we've got the festival, we've got speakers, we've got people in our community looking to live healthier lives. Remember, it's a threefold thing that we're dealing with: the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Wow, that's awesome. And how do they get invited to that? They have to go to your page?
Just go to my page and send me a message, and I can only take the first 40 that reach out to me.
All right. Well, can
And
I
it's
send
it's
Can I just send a text? Look, I'm just kidding.
And it's free. If you're in the Harlem area, if you're looking to visit the Harlem area on Saturday, September 13th, and you want to go with me, because I'm taking a group with me at 12 p.m. to 1:15 is the first segment. Feel free to reach out to me. It's has limited has a time on it. The first 40.
Are you buying lunch?
The event is free.
Are you buying lunch?
And trust and believe, if I have to buy lunch for someone, it would be a pleasure and an honor to do it because somebody did it for me.
Wow. Wow. Ladies, do you have closing remarks that you'd like to make to our guest?
Is anybody there? Okay, I'm here. I wasn't sure if someone else was on. I didn't want to jump in front of anybody. This is Alicia, and I just want to say, with everything that we've talked about, bullying and discrimination, and I really want to reiterate that it starts at home. What are we as adults or parents doing in front of children? How many children are we mentoring, to change their mindset, to show love instead of hate, or just because someone is different, not being fearful, because I think a lot of hate or bullying comes from fear. So let's just remove the fear and get to know people and learn their language and learn who they are. We may not want to do what they do, but respect them as a human being. That's all.
And not only that, a lot of parents, I want to say that a lot of parents really don't know what's going on with their children because their children are not communicating with them. So it's important that the children feel comfortable to go to their parents and tell them stuff. See, that's and a lot of times the parents think that they're doing a great job. The parents are supportive. They're there for their child. They're providing for their child. They think they're being supportive. They think they're doing everything they're supposed to do as a parent, but the child is not telling them anything. So what's really important is that the child feels comfortable going to mom or dad and telling mom or dad whatever they need to tell them, and not feeling like they're going to get in trouble or they're going to get jumped on, or they're going to get yelled at. Because if you do that to a child continuously every time you tell them something, they're going to stop communicating with you. I mean, that's just the truth. So,
Michelle, you've been talking to my son? Because he feels that way.
Oh. So I'm not an expert because I don't have any children, but I know when I do become a parent, I want to make sure that I figure out and learn how to communicate with my child so that he or she will be able to come to me and tell me whatever it is. Mom, I'm ready to have sex. Or, Mom, I'm being bullied. Because a lot of kids are being bullied in school, but they're not telling their parents. So the parents don't know, and then it's like by the time something happens, it's too late.
Right.
So I think communication is really, really important, that the parents figure out what they need to do to make sure that they know how to communicate with their child so that their child feels comfortable coming to them and talking to them about anything.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, kids these days, even if we try to make it as a parent, we try to have an open door and a platform for our children, but unfortunately our children don't always see us as being that person that they can speak to. So I've always instilled in my son to find someone that he could talk to. And he has done that, and he talks to everyone but me. But that's still good because I know that he does seek out counsel, and he does get it from the right people, whether it's his grandparents or good close friends. But they do need to find someone that they trust of authority that can and will.
Right. Yeah. Somebody that's not going to steer them in the wrong direction, because listening to your friends and all that, that's not going to do it.
Yes. And if I could, but when we're closing, there's something that I read this week in my daily devotional, and it was called Be Tenacious. And it says, just the last little part of it, it says, now saying you believe in yourself won't guarantee your success, but saying you don't believe in yourself will guarantee your failure. The truth is, you're not alone. God is with you. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. So be tenacious. And I feel like that is so appropriate for what we spoke about this evening. And if we can apply that, the queens here on the phone and those that are out there listening, not only to our everyday life, but to our state of emergency, that it's easy to say what's not happening, to sit back and point the finger and talk about who's not doing something. But that's when, as Marsha said earlier, that we have to get involved, that we just can't sit back, that we have to find whatever our strength is. We have to do that, whether it's make phone calls, raise money, however it is that we can serve, we need to do that.
Yeah.
We grow weary. It's true. We grow weary all the time in different facets of what we do, but God will give us that strength that we need. And that's my little two.
Good stuff.
Anybody else have anything you want to say before we close out our show this evening?
I'd like to say thank you, ladies.
Well, thank you, Marsha. Marsha Bonner. Thank you so much. Remember, education and information is power. We thank you, listeners out there, for joining us. We thank you, Marsha Bonner, for joining us tonight and sharing your wisdom, your insight. You have definitely encouraged, motivated, and inspired me. I'm sure I speak for the other queens.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Queens out.
All right.
Be blessed. We'll see you next week.